Modern landscape design is defined by clean edges and uncluttered look. Landscape design styles can be a great fit for a property with a modern home as well as a refreshing juxtaposition to a more traditional architectural style. Designing a modern landscape plan has much or more to do with materials than it does with plants. Often, modern landscaping features concrete paths, patios, steps, and even planters, all combined with wood or metal accents. Earthenware such as brick or pottery distracts from modern landscape styles lines, so concrete or tiles are the top choices for modern landscape design plans. The nice thing about filling a yard with concrete, just not the whole yard, is that it can be easier to maintain. Plants are used symmetrically, potted plants in neat rows or a pair flanking the front door and are meant to soften the hard edges of modern architecture and add a pop of color. A grassland can be the majority of a modern landscape or can be used as an accent if paths, gravel filled beds, and steps make up the bulk of the design. Pale colors and plants with a distinct form work best. Wild and woolly shrubs, wandering vines, and flowering shrubs don't fit the aesthetic. Mixing too many types of plants together can immediately make the design look traditional. Stick with one or two types of plants for the entire modern landscape design plan. No matter which materials or plants you choose, think of their placement in terms of geometry. How do each of these pieces fit together? Is the whole greater than the sum of its parts, or will certain areas of the landscape design be focal point? Always think in rectangles and squares. Curves don't work, and meandering pathways are a sure way to spoil the purity of the aesthetic. Modern landscape design is very popular in warm climate because it lends itself well to open spaces with outdoor furniture. If you plan to use outdoor furniture in your modern landscape, keep in mind that the geometry rule apply here to be a scale. In general, there are 6 principles of design that have been used by artists for centuries throughout all art forms, painting and floral design as well as landscape designs. They are balance, focalization, simplicity, rhythm and line, proportion, and unity. I will state one by one. First one is the balance. Balance is the state of being as well as seeing. We are most comfortable in landscape that have a sense of balance. There are two major types of balance: symmetrical and asymmetrical. Symmetrical balance is used in formal landscapes when one side of the landscape is a mirrored image of the opposite side. These landscapes often use geometric patterns in the walkways, planting beds, and even how the plants are pruned into shapes. This type of balance appears to be rather stiff in appearance and often is highly maintained. Asymmetrical balance, also known as informal balance, differs from one side to the other and appear to be relaxing and free flowing. Using these principles, landscape designers create a landscape that are pleasing to look at and even inviting. These principles were not created by artists centuries ago, but more of an inherent visual sense that most people possesses. Using these as guidelines helps designers and homeowners create a landscapes that make sense to look at. Next one is the focalization. Any good design has a focal point, the place where the viewer's eye is first attracted. Focalization is sometimes referred to as a focalization of interest or simply focal point. The focal point is the strongest element in the design in any given view. A home's focal point is often the front door. The landscape focal point is often something close to the front door to enhance the entrance of the home. Each area of landscape may include a focal point, but it is certainly not necessary. Landscape designers should not overuse focal point. In any view, people are attracted to interesting plant forms, bright colors, and artistics. Architectural design as well as art mix it up, have some fun, and create interesting focal points. Now, next one is the simplicity. Simplicity is what the name implies: simple. Keeping landscape simple, not cluttered or fuzzy, is always a good practice. This is not the opposite of complexity. Many landscapes have very complex features, including the architectural design, water features, and extensive lighting features. Landscapes that make people happy and comfortable avoid using too many color, shapes, curves, and textures. But but in no way does this mean simplicity, boring, or lack of imagination. Rhythm and line. When something in the landscape is repeated with a standard interval, a rhythm is established. In landscape design, the interval is usually space. Plants, groups, or plants, lamp pots, benches, or other structures can be repeated within the design to create this rhythm. Lines within a landscape are created in a landscape by the shape and form of the planting beds, sidewalks where the turf meets a pavement, and other hardscaping features. The rhythm and line design principles give a landscape a sense of movement and is what may draw you into the landscape. This is what makes landscape calming to our souls. Next one is the proportion. Proportions refers to the size relationship of all the features in landscape. This include vertical, horizontal, and spatial relationships. Short people, tall people, and children are all are perceived space differently. Proportion in landscape design extending to building size, lot size, plant size, areas of plantings to areas of open space, as well as the use of landscape. The next one is the unity. The principle of unity is easily measured if the other five landscape principles have been properly executed throughout the landscape. Unity in design simply means all the separate parts of the landscape work together to create a great total design. Color, shape, size, textures, and other features work together to create a unified space. Patterns and colors are often repeated. Lighting, special features, bed shapes, and hardscapes such as walkways all need to work together to create a pleasing look and a unified landscape. By following these principles of designs, you will be able to create a visually pleasing landscape in space, large or small. Thanks for watching the video. I will meet you very soon in the next video.